Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to Unparalleled Universe for another action figure review. And today we're taking a look at the brand new PopMart / Gong Studio DC Comics Kingdom Come Shazam. And if you checked out my review for the Gong Studio PopMart Superman figure, then you already know I'm very excited about this figure. I cannot wait to get it open. It looks amazing. And speaking of that Superman, one thing that I forgot to mention in that review is that Superman and Shazam are both exclusive versions of the figures. So there's a non-exclusive version, and the non-exclusive version is basically the same, except it comes with less accessories. It comes with one less set of hands, and it doesn't come with the extra head. So if you get the regular versions of these figures, you're going to get 2 sets of hands and 1 head sculpt. So sorry about that. I was all hyped up about Superman and I forgot to mention that detail, so I wanted to make sure to cover it here. But anyways, let's go ahead and get right into it because I cannot wait to get Shazam out of the packaging. Starting off with the front of the box, we get the Shazam iconic lightning bolt right there on the front. It says exclusive up here. Down here it says Shazam action figure. On the top it says Kingdom Come. On the side it's a bunch of bullshit. On the back there's some more bullshit, but then through the window you are able to see the figure itself. Over here it says Shazam action figure, and that's about it for the packaging. It's small, it's collector friendly, and it looks good, but enough about the pretty box. Let's go ahead and get this guy out and take a look. Alrighty, so here we have Shazam right out of the box, and yup, I've got to say it, I definitely like him more than Superman. And that's not a knock on Superman at all. I think that was a really great figure. I freaking love it. But I just think they did things a little better on Shazam. For instance, he has a wired cape. That was really one of the main flaws with Superman, the fact that he did not have a wired cape, but they fixed that on Shazam, and the wired cape is really nice. Check this out. Shazam has such a weird cape style, but the wire goes along the lining right here, on the edge, on that side, and even on the collar piece. So yeah, you can pose it around quite a bit. And the material is nice too. And then we have these things on there. So yeah, the cape is really good. In the box, the cape is separate from the figure, so you have to kind of put it on there. And all you have to do is weave the collar piece underneath the rope here. And then you just kind of fold it over like that, and then you're good to go. So not too hard to deal with. But yeah, the fact that they gave him a wired cape puts him above Superman a little bit. Another thing I like more on this figure is that on his arms, and this is just like a design thing that kind of works in his favor, but around the forearms, he has like these wraps, and they made them sculpted plastic, which is nice because when you're trying to remove the hands, you're able to get a good grip on the arm. On Superman, his, sleeve goes all the way to his wrist. So when you're trying to pop the hands off, the soft goods of the sleeves are kind of like sliding around, and it's hard to get a good grip. And the hands are kind of hard to pop on anyways. So it's a little bit of a hassle, but with Shazam, it's a little easier. So that was nice. And yeah, man, I just think they killed it. And not only does this work as a perfect Kingdom Come Shazam, it's just a good Shazam in general. And we don't have a whole lot of Shazam figures out there, so that's another reason that makes me like this guy more. Or just makes me more satisfied about it, because it's like, man, finally a really good Shazam. There's a couple of other good ones out there. I like the DC Universe Classics Shazam, especially the head sculpt, the big old cheesy smile. And the Mezco one is pretty good too, but none of them come close to this right here. This is freaking awesome. And for the most part, the soft goods are very clean, but mine does have a couple of small imperfections. I'll show you them a little bit later. Nothing crazy, but just little things. I like what they did with the belt too. So the belt is a sculpted piece of plastic. And you have this piece here. And what I love is that they actually made this articulated. So this could kind of rotate. So it's not as dynamic as like straight up soft goods, but it looks better and you're still able to do some stuff with it. So that's nice. I mean, a lot of times, if they would have just, like something like this would be hard to execute in soft goods. Or I don't know, maybe not. But I think it looks good the way they did it. I think it looks better than it would have if they just, had a strip of gold fabric that they tied around his waist. I don't think it would have looked as good. I think this works well here. Same thing with the rope. The rope is like solid sculpted plastic. If they would have put a real rope on there, it would have been kind of weird. So yeah, they made a lot of great choices on this figure. And once again, he does have like that big body underneath the soft goods, just like they did on Superman. And that's perfect to capture like that Alex Ross larger than life style that he does for superheroes. So yeah, man, it looks really, really good. The soft goods are amazing, really well done, super clean, again, really durable, so you don't have to worry when you're posing them around. And then taking a close look at the details on Shazam, just like with Superman, the head sculpts on this figure are absolutely they're incredible. Both of them are awesome. He comes with two different head sculpts. We'll take a look at the alternate one in just a minute, but this is the one that comes on the body when you take it out of the box. And yeah, just like Superman, it's amazing. They do such a great job of capturing the feel of Alex Ross artwork. I love the smirk on his face. That's perfect for Shazam. And just look at that, man. It is so good. The hair looks nice. The sculpting all the way around on the head sculpt is just perfect. Look at the detail and the realistic kind of skin texture, you know? It is so good. And you know, for me, when it comes to these Gong Studios figures, the main attraction is definitely the head sculpts. All of them are absolutely phenomenal, but the rest of the figure looks really good too. I think they do a great job with soft goods. Look how clean all of this is. All the stitching looks really nice. We have the Thunderbolt here on the chest, which looks good, and it's mostly applied onto the soft goods very well. Like I mentioned before, on the tip here, it was coming up a little bit, but I was able to press it down, and now we're all good. And for the most part, everything is very clean. No real huge imperfections other than what I mentioned, and you know, that's down in here. It kind of wasn't sewed closed perfectly. You know, there was a little bit of a hole there, but I mean, it's not really a hole. It's kind of just like where all these different pieces of material meet up. They just didn't, like, I don't know, like attach it or something. It was a little weird, but I was able to kind of fix it up, and now we're good to go. But aside from that, everything is absolutely perfect, man. It looks so good. The soft goods are very clean, and just like with Superman, they're durable. You could pose them around. The cape looks good too. I like how the cape is a different material than the rest of the figure, and this looks really good. Shazam's cape is so weird, but I think they did a great job with it. We've got these little charm things on there. And unlike Superman, he does have wires running through his cape. So I feel like they made Superman first and then thought, damn, we should put some wires. And then threw some wires into Shazam's cape, and it came out good, man. I love how we have these plastic pieces around the forearms. It makes it easier to switch the hands out, so that's nice. But yeah, check out the stitching, man. This is all super clean. And, you know, they put it right here where it's going to be hidden by this belt, which is perfect. I mean, you have to kind of mess with it to really get it over that seam, but that's perfect placement for that seam. And the belt is cool too. I love how this swivels. At first, I didn't realize that that was the case. And then check out the texture on the boot. That is really nice. We have some stitching up front. The stitching on the inside of the leg looks nice. All of it, man. It's just a beautiful looking figure. The stitching is great. The sculpting is awesome. The colors are nice. Just everything about the way this figure looks is perfect to me. Especially the head sculpt. So yeah, once again, they killed it. And someone asked me in the comment section of the Superman video whether the bodies under the clothing were painted. And it looks like they are. And it kind of looks like they paint them with a metallic color. So that's interesting. And I think it gives like the figures a shiny look even through the clothing, which I think is kind of cool. And it feels accurate to Alex Ross paintings, you know, like his characters always kind of have like a shine to them or like a reflective kind of look to them in some cases, you know, especially when he does like armored characters like Iron Man or even Vision. Like they always, like Iron Man always has like a reflective kind of look. But even if you look at characters that aren't metal, they kind of have like a sparkle or something, or like a reflective kind of look sometimes. But anyways, I don't know if that's what they were going for here, but it does look like under the clothing, it's painted. It's kind of hard to see, but when you're moving it around, it kind of looks like it. I don't know. Maybe it's not even painted under there and it's just the soft goods, but it looks like it's painted. It's kind of hard to tell. But anyways, for those of you that were curious, that's kind of my take on it. It may be painted, but I'm not 100% sure. Either way, I think it looks good. And then for accessories, Shazam doesn't come with a whole lot, but as I mentioned before, he does come with two different head sculpts. So this is the first one. It's the one that we've already looked at, obviously, but as I said before, this is amazing. And then for the second head sculpt, we have Shazam giving us a really unsettling smile. Kind of reminds me of like a Homelander type of smile. Like he's smiling, but he just may kill everybody. But yeah, I think this looks pretty good too. Again, it captures the energy that it's going for. I definitely like the other head sculpt a little more, but I think they did a great job with this one here. And this head sculpt only comes with the deluxe version of this figure, so keep that in mind if you're out there searching for this. But yeah, I think it does look good. And then he does come with 3 different sets of hands, starting off with these right here, which are some open, relaxed hands. And then he comes with a pair of fists. And then for the final set of hands, he comes with a set of flat flight hands. And these hands only come with the deluxe version of Shazam. So yeah, I would say that these guys are pretty light in the accessory department, especially if you're only getting the standard version. Because if you're getting him, you know, you only get 1 head and 2 sets of hands. So that's not very much. But even if you get the deluxe, you're still not getting very much. But I would say if you can, it's probably more worth it to get the deluxe version just to get the 2 heads and 1 more pair of hands and then just kind of make the whole package feel a little complete. But even then, it's still pretty light in the accessories. And just in case you were curious, the accessories are interchangeable between the 2 figures. As you could see here, I have Old Man Superman's head and his dramatic, crazy looking hands on the Shazam body. And then over here, which makes a little bit more sense, we have Shazam's flat hands on Superman along with Shazam's head. I think that works for a pretty good looking Superman, actually. Check that out. Like an old school Superman. But yeah, so, you know, if you want to mix up the accessories, you can. It gives you a little bit more options, so that's nice. Alrighty, so now for some size comparisons. Here we have Shazam alongside the Gong Studio / PopMart Kingdom Come Superman, and then on the opposite side, we have the Mezco 112 Collective Shazam. And yeah, man, as you could see, Superman and Shazam look absolutely amazing together. They both perfectly capture that Alex Ross energy. They're going to look amazing on the shelf, and I really hope that Gong Studios does some more figures from this comic run, because imagine having a whole lineup. You know, it would look amazing, but they look so great together. And then, you know, as far as the Mezco Shazam goes, like, I've always thought that he was a cool figure, but Gong Studio made some choices with their version that just make the Mezco one look a little silly. Like, for instance, just the material they used on the design on the actual suit looks a little funny. You know, the cloth belt or sash or whatever just doesn't look as good as it does on the Gong Studio version. They went with plastic that just works better, you know. Over here, this has always looked kind of funny to me. And then same thing with the rope, like around the collar area. Mezco used an actual rope, which is cool, but it just doesn't work as well and doesn't function as well. Over here, they've got a sculpted rope that stays in place. You don't have to worry about it. It securely holds the cape down. The cape on here is always just kind of weird and floating around and looking a little silly, you know? So yeah, it's interesting. I wonder if Gong Studio kind of looked at the Mezco version and just kind of thought about what they could do differently. I mean, that would make sense if they did. But also, like, on the Mezco one, it kind of looks like he's sagging a little bit. Like around here, like the crotch area looks a little funny. On the Gong Studio version, it's all fitted correctly and doesn't look weird at all. It doesn't look like he's sagging. So yeah, man, it's crazy. It's crazy how far 1/12 scale figures have come with soft goods in, you know, only a couple of years, really. But you always have to credit Mezco for kind of leading the charge with this stuff. They're not the first ones that did soft goods in 1/12 scale, but I think they're some of the first to make it really popular, especially in regards to superheroes. But yeah, in my opinion, a lot of companies have come along and just kind of ran away with it, honestly. They're killing it. There's a lot of different companies that are killing it with 1/12 scale superhero things. And a lot of them are third-party companies, but now we have an officially licensed company that's doing just as good as the third party. And if you already have the BMS Kingdom Come Superman, so you don't want to buy the Gong Studio version, but you still want a Shazam, then as you could see here, they work pretty well together. Obviously, the BMS version doesn't really capture the energy quite as well as the Gong Studio stuff, but I still think they work really well. You could definitely put this Shazam alongside your BMS version. So yeah, here he is with the BMS Kingdom Come Superman and the Mezco 1/12 Collective Classic Superman. And then here we have Shazam alongside the Mezco 1/12 Collective Aquaman and the Mezco 1/12 Collective Black Adam. And yeah, I think that the Shazam figure fits in pretty well with them, actually. He looks really good. Man, I wonder how easy it would be to make a custom Black Adam out of this Shazam figure. Just kind of, I mean, can't you just dye it black? Maybe, I don't know. But yeah, that would be kind of crazy. I would love to see Gong Studio maybe do some type of exclusive like Black Adam, you know? I think that'd be awesome. They would kill it. And then next up, we have Shazam alongside the Mezco 1/12 Collective Dark Knight Returns Superman and the Mafex Dark Knight Returns Superman. And again, I think that Shazam looks great alongside them if you're putting together like an artist-specific shelf, or if you want like characters that are based on certain comic runs or certain like artistic styles, then I think they look really good together. And then next we have Shazam alongside the DC versus Dark Horse Hal Jordan Green Lantern by NECA. And then on the opposite side, we have the Mafex Hush Batman. And then next we have Shazam alongside the Mezco 112 Collective Wonder Woman and the DC Icons Flash. Man, I miss DC Icons. Remember they were going to make a Shazam figure? I think it would have been great. Their Black Adam figure was awesome, so I think they would have killed it with Shazam. But damn it, I wish we still had DC Icons. This Flash figure is one of my favorites. I would love to see Gong Studio make a Flash figure, especially if they use this type of material that we saw on Shazam and Superman. I think it would definitely allow for Flash to get into some cool running poses. So, man, that'd be dope. And then stepping away from DC, here we have Shazam alongside the Mafex Captain America and Mafex Daredevil. And then next up, we have him alongside the Marvel Legends Bucky Cap and Marvel Legends Renew Your Vows Spider-Man. And then for the most important size comparison, here we have Shazam alongside the NECA Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mirage Comics Kirby, aka the King Jack Kirby. And then on the opposite side, we have my original character, which is Odious from Unparalleled Universe. And just like with Superman, the articulation on Shazam is okay. There are some limitations and there's some joints that I wish got a little bit more range. But to be honest with you, I don't need a crazy amount of articulation on a character like Superman or Shazam. As long as we could get them into some cool poses, some fighting, some flights, and things like that, then I'm okay with it. I don't need over-the-top articulation just for the sake of having it. You know, if the articulation is enough to give us what we want out of the character, then I'm happy with it. And I think that's the case with these guys. But let's go ahead and see what we have going on here, starting off at the head. So the head is on a ball joint, so it's able to move side to side, which is nice. We get a little bit of tilting action. And then he's able to look up to about right there. So that's pretty good for flight poses and stuff. I do wish that the head was able to move up just a little bit more, but, you know, you could still make things happen with that. And then he's able to look down only to about right there. And if you want him to look down more, you got to get some help from the torso. So he's able to look down to right there. Speaking of the torso, he does have a diaphragm cut. And the diaphragm cut is okay, but I do wish that it had a little bit more forward movement. So that's one of the joints that I wish had a little bit more range. The back is okay. It goes back a pretty decent amount. And then, you know, we get some nice like side-to-side action and a little bit of twist. So pretty good movement at the diaphragm everywhere except for forward. Like the side-to-side is nice, back is nice. I just wish that it got forward a little bit more. And then for the arms, he does have ball joints at the shoulder, so you're able to bring both arms up at the same time, a really nice amount, which is very impressive. Oh, look at that. That's awesome right there. Really nice flight poses. Boom. Yeah, that'll work for sure. And then you're able to bring the arms out to the side to about right there. And just like Superman, these soft goods are very durable. You don't have to worry about damaging them or anything like that. They're holding up very well. So yeah, you can bring his arms out to the side a really good amount. And then he does have upper bicep swivel. You can get his arms in front of him only to about right there. It'd be cool to get a little bit more, but again, that's enough for some punching poses, so I could live with it. Oh, there we go. Yeah, that'll work for sure. Yeah, so that's pretty good. And then let's see what else we have going on. I think I mentioned it, but he has double jointed elbows, just in case I missed it. There we go, double jointed elbows. And then at the wrist, he has a ball joint that has a hinge, so you get some hinging action, and then you could spin it around and do whatever you need to. And then for the legs, something I forgot to mention on Superman is that these guys actually have drop-down hips. But the drop-down hip doesn't give you much more than, than what's already there, you know. Even dropping it down, it only goes to like right there, so not a whole lot. And then they do have upper thigh swivel. Can't really go back too much. Legs can go out to the side a really good amount. So that's cool. And then double jointed knees that could bend to about right there, which isn't too bad. No boot swivel, but we get a swivel at the foot, goes forward to right there, comes up to right there, and we get some rocking action. So yeah, like I said, not a crazy amount of articulation. I think there's enough here for Shazam and Superman and bigger characters like this. But if they were doing like Batman or Nightwing or something, you definitely want a lot more articulation. Oh, I forgot to mention, the belt also has articulation. But yeah, anyways, I think the articulation is really nice on these guys. Again, nothing over the top, but definitely enough for the character. I wish we got a little bit more out of the torso and a little bit more out of the shoulders. But aside from that, I really don't have any complaints because I feel like the articulation does the job for the characters. So, I'm happy with it. Alrighty, so overall, at the end of the day, when the smoke clears, the dust settles, and it's all said and done, I really, really love this Shazam figure. I think that once again, Gong Studios did an incredible job on this guy. And as much as I liked Superman, I've got to say, I think I like Shazam more. I just feel like there's things they did better on him. Like the fact they included a wired cape was amazing. Like I didn't think that he would have a wired cape after opening Superman. I was a little disappointed that Superman didn't have it. And really that was like the only flaw with that figure. So I'm really happy that we saw it on Shazam. And also I feel like Shazam's costume design does things that kind of lends itself to being a better figure, like the fact that he has these sculpted pieces around the forearms makes it easier to change the hands out. So something like that is cool. And yeah, just overall, I think they did a really great job on Shazam. Both of the figures are amazing, but I've got to say, I prefer Shazam. And I absolutely love the way this figure looks. The sculpt, the design, the aesthetic, everything about it is perfect in my opinion. I think they did such a great job of capturing that Alex Ross energy, which is so important when they're doing something like this that's based on something so specific. I think that PopMart and Gong Studio, they just killed it. They nailed this whole aesthetic perfectly in my opinion. So I love the way it looks. All the details are well sculpted. The soft goods are nice. It's awesome. As far as accessories go, I do feel like I'm pretty happy with what's here, but for the price, they definitely should consider including more stuff. Like he does have pretty much everything that you'd want for somebody like this. You've got extra hands and, an extra head, but for the price, maybe some more head sculpts would have been nice. Maybe some type of piece of like broken rubble or something, or some type of lightning effect or something like that would have been really cool. You could always come up with cool accessories for superheroes, but they just didn't for whatever reason. For this price, they really should consider putting in more accessories. I would like to see that. And as far as the articulation goes, for me personally, I think it's fine. I could understand why people would be a little underwhelmed by the articulation because there are some limitations. But for big buff heroes like Shazam and Superman, I think the articulation is perfectly fine. And I don't want to make that like a cop-out or anything. But for me personally, I'm not somebody that wants articulation just for the sake of it or just to say that it's there. If the articulation on the figure does what the character needs, then I'm happy with it. In this case, I feel like that's mostly the case, although I do feel like there were a couple of joints that would have benefited from some more range, like the neck and the torso and the arms. But overall, I'm pretty satisfied with the articulation, and these figures have been fun to play with. So yeah, man, I think that Gong Studio / PopMart is absolutely killing it with the DC stuff. I would love to see them do more characters. It doesn't even have to be like Kingdom Come characters. Just any DC characters would be amazing from these guys. In my opinion, there's not a whole lot of options for like really dope DC figures out there. Mafex is pretty much the only one in my opinion, and some other companies here and there would do okay figures every now and then, but yeah, I would love to see them do more DC figures in this style. I think they would absolutely kill it because these are the first 1/12 scale figures they've ever done as far as I know. And they did an incredible job. So I'd be really interested to see what they would do if they did more DC characters. But yeah, man, this guy's awesome. If you're interested in picking it up, the last time I checked, 5K Toys did have it in stock, but they were sold out of the exclusive version. So you'll have to get the one that just comes with the one extra set of hands and the one head sculpt. So that does kind of suck, but still, I highly recommend picking this guy up because if you need a good Shazam figure, this guy does the job in more ways than one. So it's a great figure. But yeah, check out 5K Toys if you're interested. That's where I bought mine. And yeah, with that, I think that's it. Thank you so much for watching. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and all that good stuff. Also, be sure to hit the bell notification so you know every time that I go live. Thank you very much. Peace.